Okay. So another thing which you just mentioned actually is the whole habitability thing which comes into buy-to-let nowadays. So what is that all about?
Well, you'll know more than me, Peter. It's a surveyor's call. You'll know, and I know, you get 10 surveyors around one property, you'll get 11 different views on habitability,
Exactly.
values, everything else. The banks will ask their appointed valuer to confirm mortgage suitability, and if it's a buy-to-let mortgage application, the property must be habitable or considered habitable for letting purposes on day one.
Yeah, well, my experience of this is that every bank has a different definition of what that really means in practice. On top of that, every valuer has a different definition of what this means in practice. So you range from a nice little refurb opportunity where it clearly needs some work doing to it, but they'll still lend the money anyway, all the way through to it's got to be virtually pristine so that you could almost let the tenant in on day one.
Yes. Some lenders are worse than others. I'm not going to mention any names, but there is one particular specialist lender who is particularly fussy, and they have their own in-house valuers.
Yeah.
So they have a huge amount of influence on what they take on. And without hesitation, if there's any element of work that still needs to be done, I wouldn't use that particular lender. And there is an element of judgment, but at the end of the day, the habitability and the lettability of the property, it isn't the broker's judgment. It's very much down to the lender's valuer to confirm it meets with the lender's criteria. And because it's an opinion-driven business, you're not going to get consistency in that.
Yeah. So investors being adaptable, I mean, there's ways and means of getting around this, which I stress nothing dodgy here, but just being practical about it. And one of the things which I've seen people do, and I've done it myself in the past, is actually when you buy the property, try and buy the property for cash, and then you do the refurb and then you finance.
Yeah.
The question often comes though, well, what if you haven't got the money yourself? And so I suppose the question is, if I was to find a property which I wanted to refurbish, knowing that at some point I was going to take on a buy-to-let mortgage in 6 months or a year's time, is it okay for me to go and borrow the purchase price off my friend? Is the bank going to be happy with that?
So as long as it was legitimately derived, there's nothing to stop you doing that for the purchase. Where banks, in my experience, will want to delve a lot deeper is if it's a non-family connection.
Okay.
They will have to undertake their own due diligence, and that will involve identifying the original source of the funds and the accumulation. And in fairness, the lawyers, if you buy it cash, you're still going to have to use a lawyer to buy the property.
Yes.
The lawyer at the point of purchase will almost certainly need the same due diligence in any event. So the likelihood is you'll probably have all of that information on file anyway.
Yeah.
When it comes to financing.
Yeah. I hope you found this video useful and informative, and if you did, then please come over to my website www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk, where you'll find loads more great property related resources, including free special reports to download and my best-selling series of ebooks, which includes the Successful Property Renovators Workshop, 63 common defects in investment property and how to spot them. And if you're just starting out in property, or if you want to grow your portfolio, you may be particularly interested in the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, in which I'll take you through exactly how I started and built my property portfolio, starting literally with none of my own money, and how I built a portfolio of £2 million worth of property in just 4 years. And that was starting from scratch. I'll take you through everything that I did right so that you can copy me and do the same. And I'll also show you everything that I did wrong so that you can avoid the mistakes that I made, and so that you can progress in property and be far more successful far more quickly than I ever was. And this is based upon my own real life experience, and it took me about 4 years to actually work out how to do property investing properly. But in the 200 pages in the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, I'm going to show you all of that 4 years knowledge condensed down so that you can use it immediately. And until next time, Here's to successful property investing.